let's jam in some more phone calls here. Pat in New Jersey, thanks for holding. Welcome.
Hi, Alex. First off, I want to state that I am a Ron Paul supporter, but I've noticed that you've acknowledged in past broadcasts that like an armed populace could successfully resist like a foreign or domestic standing army using asymmetric warfare and guerrilla tactics, and obviously keep criminals from thriving. So I'm just wondering why you don't support a private property anarchism that Murray Rothbard and other philosophers advocate for.
Well, number one, in the type of position that we're in now and the way society's operating, to even sit there and discuss pure anarchy, isn't even in the real world. I mean, what would China do? What would Russia do? The problem is it has to be a philosophy that spreads worldwide. Then in increments, you move towards more and more liberty. There's always going to be gangs that bound together, and then the anarchists say, well, we'll have a corporation or a group that then deals with them. Well, exactly, and you're back to square one. You've got to have local control, and you can have anarchy in a rural area if people are generally culturally similar and have the same code of ethics and are heavily armed. Because people will then spontaneously get together to defend others. It does work in rural areas. It does not work in the society and the system we've got today. Speaking of violence, 90% of war is information and moral high ground. If the minute there was some armed uprising, the globalists would go out and commit a bunch of massacres. It's on the books. That's their plan. To then blame it on us. It'd be a bunch of school kids strung up with their guts hanging out on the news, and they would say that we did it. They'd probably show a morphed video of me doing it. Okay? So the point is there's some very childlike statements out of some of the anarchists that I hear sometimes. They don't understand the scientific level of tyranny we're dealing with. I just want to get the cancer viruses out of the vaccines and point out it's not the law, you got to take them. Or that you can film cops. I mean, I'm dealing with the overrunning of the emplacement, swinging my musket, and there's guys up on the parapet going, and we will have perfect systems of, philosophizing, and I'm like, swinging my musket around, and they're going, and then it'll be perfect, pure anarchy. Well, let me debate that with you, my good friend. Oh, that Alex does not understand the subtleties of the anarchical capitalism structures of the stricture. And I'm like just full on, absolute war with the globalist. You got to deal with the globalist. And so it's, I just see a lot of arguments by the pure anarchy people that don't live in reality. So someday if we got rid of most government and got back to constitutional system and we educated everybody and that worked, maybe we could start testing it. Well, these states vote to be in total anarchy, dissolve everything. Let's see what happens there. Now do you see what I'm saying there, buddy?
Yeah, but you have many countries now. I mean, say take Switzerland, or there's actually an area of Mexico right now that has completely overthrown the Mexican government, an entire state that has been without government for years now.
Yeah, and those states are absolute abject hellholes of lawlessness and poverty and starvation. And I'm not saying the government brought that, or that government would bring something good. They had bad, corrupt government, and now it's out of the equation, and it's degenerated even more. You've got to go towards higher orders of liberty. You don't go from abject, dumbed-down masses into a structure of liberty. It's a process, as Ron Paul has said. I mean, comprende on that, Pat?
Well, yeah, I mean, but then you have countries like Switzerland who don't get attacked by their neighbors. And,
well, no, that's a sovereign nation. They've got all sorts of rules there. That's not anarchy. Stay there. We're doing Overdrive. Look, Pat, I want to go to at least Frank because he's been holding a real long time. And I'm probably not going to get the other callers. I got to most of you, though. I apologize as is normal at the end of the transmission while we extend it for you. But I could have a debate about anarchy and really state my position on it. It's uncharted territory. The examples of anarchy I've seen have been Road Warrior-esque. I mean, really, we did have a form of anarchy, in this country. It's called the Wild Wild West. And but you talk about Switzerland and talking about anarchy, you're talking about a sovereign country. They actually have a lot of rules there. But the people have agreed to institute those. for their mutual prosperity. That's a lot different than what you're talking about. As the founders said, only immoral people can have liberty. And that's been proven. I mean, let me tell you something. As bad as the police are, as out of control as they get, you know, there's times that you want them. And then there's the problem of they don't want you to be able to arm yourself so that they're the monopoly of power. I believe in the sheriff. I mean, why don't cities make deals with sheriff's departments where they're elected and accountable? And nothing's perfect. But getting off into a debate here with you, Pat, you're raising Switzerland as an example of anarchy?
No, but the reason that neighbors don't attack Switzerland is not because they have a government. It's because the entire populace is armed, and Hitler would never invade there because he knew he couldn't defeat them.
It's also a good place to stash his cash. Yeah, but I agree with you. And it's actually the Swiss model that's the Dutch model that's our model. And so I would like to move towards liberty. It's just that it's a process. So I don't think we disagree, Pat. I appreciate your call. Frank in Texas, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, Alex. Just a few quick things. Talking about anarchy, if there was a scientific, compassionate application of anarchy, I'd be all for that. But then you would just see the same kinds of corrupt behaviors that you see on larger levels within the government and everything like that. I am a Ron Paul supporter. And the thing about Ron Paul is that I don't think he could get the nomination. You know, that's the frustrating thing for me.
But get this, if he doesn't win, don't be crestfallen. Don't be depressed. He's winning by injecting real issues and growing the liberty movement. It is resistance that's victory. It's like lifting weights or jogging. I mean, you've got to put yourself through stress and take the field to grow and to master anything. And that's why Ron Paul, I told him privately and on air, I said, we're drafting you. By the way, we got a couple new Ron Paul T-shirts out where you support us a little bit, mainly get the word out about Ron Paul. In fact, let me show folks that. And you can support the InfoWar and get the word out about Ron Paul. And that's Save the Republic, Ron Paul 2012. And on the back, it's got the American flag and Legalize Freedom, available at the Infowars.com video bookstore / apparel area. And you can help spread the word that way. And again, I mean, if the Republicans don't give him the nomination, even if he won, that's our fault because we didn't go in and take over all the delegates.
I just hope that Jesse Ventura is on the other side of that ticket. It'd be Ron Paul, Jesse Ventura, 2012. That'd be pretty sick.
You know, Jesse Ventura is a great guy and a man of principles, and I really respect him and I'm friends with him. But I don't think Ron Paul would have Jesse Ventura on his ticket probably if you really, I mean, if you get down to brass tacks, because he disagrees with a few of Ron Paul's positions. And Ron Paul is 100% no compromise. 100%. It's like folks that say put Dennis Kucinich. Dennis Kucinich is somewhat principled. He bowed to the socialist government takeover of health care because he got a ride on Air Force One, lost a lot of respect. I disagree with Kucinich on a lot of issues, but the fact that he's normally principled makes me respect him in a field of other miscreants. But Ron Paul would never have Dennis Kucinich as running mate. That's the opposite of what he believes in. All right, folks, we'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central. Don't forget, we're about 26, 27 hours out from the launch of InfoWars Nightly News tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central. Please spread the word, PrisonPlanet.tv. You don't need me to tell you that humanity is in a deep crisis. Everyone can feel it. We know a tectonic struggle is now taking place between the forces of freedom and those who love darkness, bondage, and enslavement. Yes, my friends, evil is rising. But take heart. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently, New World Order operative Hillary Clinton admitted they're losing the info war.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
The globalists are scared. They've overreached. The future of the InfoWar is in your hands. Join PrisonPlanet.tv. Download the thousands of special video reports, ebooks, and more, and get them out to everyone you know. Continue to spread the word about the broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and every other globalist propaganda platform. We are going to use their system against them. The InfoWar now goes into high gear.